I analyze data for 4 hours every day and it changed my life. Today I'll be going over how I overcame procrastination and how I even had the time to analyze 4 hours of data every day, which allowed me to change my career from a dead-end role to a job at Amazon all within a year. So why 4 hours? Well, Cal Newport in his book Deep Work says there's really only 4 good hours in a day that anybody can intensely focus on anything. So this critical thinking applies to analyzing data, learning a new skill, writing a paper. And Cal Newport is not the only one who believes this. There have been studies of other successful people such as Stephen King, Charles Darwin, that also only focused for 4 hours a day. So how did I apply this 4-hour rule? First, I mapped out my goals and created a plan. Brian Tracy says, clarity is perhaps the most important concept in personal productivity. If you don't know what you're doing, chances are you won't do it. So if I asked you to make a dish called cacio e pepe, you would most likely not do it because you don't know how to. Now imagine I give you the recipe and it lists all the ingredients and you know exactly how to do it. How likely are you to do it then? Probably way more likely. That's what procrastination is. It really applies to anything. If you don't know how to do it, you're more likely not to do it. And speaking of not knowing what to do, please like and subscribe as it helps the algorithm. Not knowing what to do also applies to learning data. I knew I would have to learn additional data skills, but I didn't know exactly how to get started. So I really procrastinated for years before I took any action. And it's only when I was really intentional about my goal that I signed up for a data science course. And that's when it was really a game changer for me because they laid out the foundation and the exact steps of what it is that I need to learn, that I then was able to beat procrastination and start taking action. The second is I scheduled my deep work. What really helped me was defining what it was that I needed to get done, as well as when was I going to be doing it to keep myself accountable. There's a difference between saying I will study data analysis for 4 hours and then aimlessly studying for hours versus saying I will complete exercises 2 and 3 within the 4 hours tomorrow because you know that there is a specific task you need to do along with a specific time that keeps you accountable. So every night I planned my next day by going through the tasks that I wanted to get done, along with breaking them into smaller tasks and making it really manageable by blocking it out on my calendar. The concept of a 4-hour period really helped me because it's much more manageable and realistic. You'll see on a lot of productivity videos saying you can be 100% productive 12 hours a day and every day, and I just don't think that's realistic. When you set unrealistic expectations for yourself, that's how you burn out. So by keeping your expectations really realistic, that's how I was able to sustain that 4-hour study period every day. Third, I focused. The challenge that a lot of people have is that they already know what to do, they just can't sit down and focus on it. It's like you know you have to learn data analysis skills and you have a specific task, but once you sit there, how do you stay focused? First, I minimize distractions, and this is something I do even still to this day. I actually don't have notifications turned on for text messages, emails. Even at work, I actually just silence everything because I find that it's extremely distracting when you're working and focused on something and then turn your attention because you got a text message. And yes, there are consequences to this. I am the last person to respond to group chats. Sometimes I do miss calls. But what this has allowed me to do is to focus my attention and be able to practice for focusing on longer periods of time by removing all those side distractions. Second, I built a habit. Learning to focus is like a muscle. It's something you have to practice and get into the routine. And there are many different focus techniques out there. A popular one is the Pomodoro technique, where every 25 minutes you focus and then take a 5-minute break. I personally tried this, but for me, it doesn't work because I find it actually more distracting. I prefer to sit down and focus on my work, and especially with data analyst type of work where you have to critically think, you're diving deep into data, you're solving a problem. I felt like whenever I was really getting into the zone, the timer was up and I had to go and take my break. So what I found worked for me is that I would instead block 4 hours at a time where I would commit to doing focus work. And if I'm being honest, usually at the 1 hour mark, I would need a break, and that's when I take a quick break. Maybe I'll check my phone and then get back into it. And during the 4 hours, I wasn't 100% productive. It's really hard to say that you can sit down and work completely the full 4 hours productively. But what I did enjoy about this process was that it really built a routine and a habit for me. And just by showing up for those 4 hours every day, it really allowed me to build my focus and get closer to aligning with my goals. The third is I took care of myself. No matter what productivity trick or hack you use, you will not be productive if you feel mentally exhausted and have low energy. There's a great story about two lumberjacks where every day they start chopping wood at the same time and end chopping wood at the same time. And every day the two lumberjacks would show up, and in the middle of the day, one of them would go take a break for an hour and then come back. And at the end of the day, the guy who took the break would chop more wood than the other guy. And this went on continuously for months. Then finally, the guy said, hey, the only difference is you take that hour break and yet you chop more wood than I do. What are you doing in that hour? And the guy says, well, I go home and sharpen my axe. This story resonates with me because it's not about how much you get done in a day necessarily. It's about how much you get done over a longer period of time, over your career and the long term. So there were days where I woke up feeling tired. Maybe I didn't sleep well. Maybe I just couldn't focus that day. And on those days, I would let myself rest. I would take that nap. I would go on that walk or take a Friday afternoon. And this was really a key for me to be able to focus because I allowed myself to take the breaks when I needed and I listened to my body. If you think about it, your mind and your body are your two most important assets, whatever it is that you're doing. And if you don't take care of yourself, you will not be able to achieve anything that you have as a goal. Now, if you want some clarity on what steps you need to take to become a data analyst, I do have a video where I wrote out my roadmap of what exactly I did to become a full-time data analyst, which I will link, and I can't wait to see you on that video.